Now, I know I can sit here and come on and say, well, it's a statement game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, you know what? We've learned over the years that a regular season game in November isn't really a statement game. And it shows us really what the Leafs have been like for the longest time that we can think of. You beat the great teams. Boston going into the game 10-1. They've only trailed in a game for 12% of their 11 games played. They've dominated every team that they play. Well, the Leafs play a really sound hockey game. Other than a penalty shot goal for Brad Marchand, the Leafs win it 2-1 over the Boston Bruins and improving now to 6-4-2 on the season. A really nice start for the Toronto Maple Leafs in this one, and they finished the game strong. They played a full 60, and I know that's the cliche and everyone hears, but it's true. And that's what they did. I've read comments in the past, well, you don't win after 20 minutes, you don't win after 40, and it's so true. You play 60, especially against a good team like the Boston Bruins, especially the way they're buzzing early on in the year, you gotta find a way. And they did. Now, Leaf fans, if you're wondering, again, if you don't watch Raptor videos, it's totally fine. You might notice there's a little bit difference going on here, different look, maybe different quality, different sound maybe. I don't know. I brought this out for Raptor fans as well. Went out and bought this bad boy for you guys. So hopefully it sounds better for you. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of, as you saw, there's going to be an intro. There's going to be an outro as well. And I'm going to put a clip in here at some point. I'll put the clip in for the Matthews second goal because it was quite nice, especially the play from Willie Nylander. But let's break down this game, all right? First period, everyone's going into the game thinking, well, will the Leafs be able to win this game, right? Boston's 10-1. The Leafs really haven't found their footing going into the game at 5-4-2. Will they be able to do so? Well, they come out flying. The Leafs do a really good job in the offensive end. Defensively, they do a great job, keeping Samsonov in check, right? He's making some good stops in the early goings. And the Leafs outshoot the Bruins 11-7 in that period. And also, puck gets behind the net. Michael Bunting's right there. He loses his stick, but he kicks the puck to Austin Matthews, and right as he kicks it, Ullmark's looking the other way, and Matthews goes quickly forehand to the backhand as he goes around the net and backhands it, and I don't know how he found the space to feed this thing through Ullmark, but he does, and the Leafs are on the board first. Matthews from Marner and Bunting at 7:19 of the first period, and the Leafs are in front 1-0, exactly where you want to be if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs. Great start to the game. And as I mentioned, 11-7 in the first period shots-wise, and that is how the period ends. Okay, but again, it's not after 20 minutes. You got to regroup, and you got to figure it out in the second period. And in that second period, on the Boston Bruins power play, Marchand has a step on Brody. He dives for him, trips him up. They award the penalty shot, and Samsonov gets absolutely dangled out by Brad Marchand. He bites on the fake shot, and then he kind of falls over. The leg gets a little twisted up, but it doesn't seem any worse for wear. Gets scored on. He plays the rest of the period. Doesn't allow a goal the rest of the period. And but he ends up not playing in the third. We'll talk about that in a second. 10 minutes after that goal by Brad Marchand to tie the game, and here's where I'm going to put this clip. Pop, right in there. William Nylander on the power play gets the puck in about his blue line, right around that area, and takes off. He could dump the puck in. He could drop it off for a Leaf. He does not. He takes off right into the offensive zone. And you think, okay, is he going to cut it towards the net, to the front of the net, or is he going to pass it across seam? No, he doesn't. He holds onto the puck. He stays tight to the post, and he goes around the back of the net. Matthews coming behind him, plops his rear right in front of the cage, and Willie Nylander goes around the back of the net, as you're going to see, and centers it to Matthews for a picture-perfect goal. Beautiful play by Nylander. The patience, waiting for the right pass, making the pass, and Matthews being hard on the stick. He knows he's going to take some contact. He didn't really take much abuse there in front when he got there, but he makes do with it, buries it past Ullmark, giving the Leafs the lead back to 1. Huge job there. Shots on goal in the second period are 15-7 in favor of the Leafs, and they lead after 2 periods of play. We go to the third, and instantly we see Eric Källgren in net, and we're all thinking, we just can't have any nice things, can we? You play a great 40 minutes, you got a lead against the Bruins, we're all feeling great, and then your goalie's out of the game. Of course it is. Now Eric Källgren comes in, and we're all like, okay, that makes us extremely nervous with the remainder of this game. But But he stands tall, makes some big stops, does get helped, I think, by a post in there at some point. Leafs take some stupid penalties late in the game. I think John Tavares took one, and I can't quite remember. He might have taken both, actually. I can't remember. I know he took one penalty late, and they had some opportunities to get some other power plays, right? Pasternak dangling out a defenseman and then getting hooked in the hands a little bit. They didn't call that. That would have put them on the two-man advantage, which Källgren in the cage with that power play, just about feels automatic for me. And they don't call that. So they kill off all the penalties. And the Leafs, shout out to Mark Giordano for some big-time defensive stops there late in the game. And the Leafs, they hang on. They hang on to beat the Boston Bruins 2-1 at Scotiabank Arena. They've won back-to-back games. They're 6-4-2 on the year. And they beat the best team in the league record-wise right now. Is it a statement win? No, it's not. And the reason I say that is because the Leafs are supposed to be one of the better teams in hockey, right? Supposed to be. So if you're supposed to be, then you should be able to match up against one of the better teams and beat them here, right? Also, it's November. There's no statement games. Leaf fans know when the statement games occur, and that's April. But for now, it's a win against a divisional team that, in hindsight, you're chasing. So, yeah, it's a good win. On home ice. You win 2-1. You play a full 60. Shots and goal in the third period were 7-2 in favor of Boston. But again, the high danger chances weren't quite there. Like, yeah, the zone time was there for the Bruins. But again, Källgren made some stops. No rebounds for the most part. Did a really nice job making all 7 stops. So I thought they did a pretty good job. But we got to move on to the next one, right? So that's really what this season's all about. You enjoy it. You move on, all right? Let's get to the stats here real quick. So Ilya Samsonov, before he left the game with the injury, allowed 1 goal and 14 shots. I thought he was really good, other than getting outdangled like crazy by Brad Marchand in the penalty shot. I think he did fine. He did fine yet again. It's unfortunate that now he's gone down with a knee injury. We don't know as of yet what the extent is of the injury. You guys might know by the time this video comes out, but that's what I got for you. And Erik Källgren comes in, makes all 7 stops, and he seals the deal. You see him after the game, right? Goes like this, like, oh, yes, that's a big one for me, and a big one for the fellas as well. So really nice job for Källgren coming in. And Austin Matthews with a multi-goal game. How big is that for this team, this fan base, in the sense of we can take a little bit of a breath of fresh air? The talk was, the big guys aren't showing up, right? That was the talk of the town, right? On the West Coast trip and all that stuff. Well, you come back from the trip, Tavares gets a hat trick. Matthews has 2 goals. Marner has 2 assists today. And Nylander has a really, really nice assist there. So we can all kind of breathe a little bit in that sense, but one game at a time, right? Special teams-wise, both teams were 1 for 3 on their power play. I guess technically the Brad Marchand penalty shot goal was a power play goal, even though they still had the power play after the penalty shot. But they were 1 for 3 there. Leafs were 1 for 3. And you know what? You won the game. So that's all that matters, really. Now, tough test tomorrow, though, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, not only did you have Boston today at home on the second night of a back-to-back, you got to hit the road to take on the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina. It's a 5 o'clock start, so it's an early puck drop as well. So, and Erik Källgren will be in the cage for that, because you bet your rear, whoever the heck's getting called up, if Samsonov isn't quite right, I'm hoping it's precautionary. That's what I'm hoping for, but doesn't seem that way. And if that's the case, who's coming up? Is it that Dylan Ferguson guy we talked about in the preseason? I think Joseph Woll's still hurt, I believe. There might be another goalie down there. I can't quite remember, but I know those couple guys are the ones that I can remember. It's not looking good in net for the Buds. I think I heard Matt Murray is back on the ice, but he's still a ways away, so there's really nothing to think about when it comes to that. Going to be a tough one tomorrow. On the road in Carolina against a really good team. On a back-to-back. It's going to be tricky. But, again, I wouldn't say it's a statement game, but it's a little bit of a, hey, show us something, right? You go out there on the back-to-back against Carolina. You beat Boston on the front of the back-to-back, and then you beat Carolina on the back half of the back-to-back. It gives us a little bit of, okay. So they can do it, right? For all of us here, we're thinking about, man, can they do it? Well, you do that, that answers our question. Right? All right. So, guys, that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you guys enjoyed the game today, it was very entertaining. Lots of stuff going on in the game, whether it's hitting, whether Giordano and Taylor Hall going at it a little bit there, and, you know, more or less a goalie duel, really defensive hockey, but a lot of rushes. It was a really weird game. Nobody hit 30 shots, but I felt it was really end-to-end rushes all the time. Very entertaining game. The Leafs come out on front of it. Boston doesn't get a point out of it. You did what you had to do. You got 2 points. You move on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM to like great stuff. The Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. Also, the Discord link will be in the description. A lot of you guys have been joining over the last, well, starting yesterday, because we opened up the Discord for you know, everybody to join. Leaf fans, Raptor fans, Jays fans, doesn't matter. There's little things for everybody. So go check it out. The link will be in the description below for that. And I will talk to you guys, Raptors edition, as they take on DeMar DeRozan and the Chicago Bulls tomorrow. It's a 6 o'clock tip-off there. And as for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're back in action tomorrow as well on the second night of a back-to-back in Carolina, taking on the Hurricanes, 5 p.m. puck drop there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the game tonight. We'll talk to you guys then.